Okay, it is review time. So, Kandi in the Game is my number one show right now because I really ain't watching shit else reality TV wise. I've only been watching, I just finished Euphoria, Snowfall is airing, Bel Air is airing, two great shows, and I think that's all I got right now other than Kandi in the Game. And Kandi in the Game is giving me everything that I want. I was a little skeptical, but I'm satisfied with this show. And I really loved how it opened up because we still got Torin and Philip going back and forth to each other. Back and forth at each other, and Torin is not relenting. He's not letting up. And he let Philip know who the fuck he was. Look at my cat. When did she get right here? Anyway. So yeah, he let him know, like, this ain't that. This is not it. He was like, I was just trying to have like a little introduction instead of like this little talk. And Philip was like, oh, I don't give you, he's like, I don't give you what you want. And he's like, and I actually want to get back to my work because it was more entertaining than this conversation. And Torin's like, bitch, you called me over here. I just came in here just to get to work and get these measurements and get the fuck out. But you brought me over here to have this conversation. And now that I put my foot up your ass, like, oh, I really ain't want to talk to you. Like, Philip was so saucy in that scene. But Torin gets up. He goes to talk to Kandi. And he was rattled. He was rattled by them comments that Torin made as he was walking up. He was like, "Great to meet you. You're such a great guy, Philip. You got a lot to learn at this place, buddy." Like, he was sticking it to him, and he couldn't even fix himself to type on that MacBook no more. He had to start fiddling with his phone. He's like, "You know what? I'm about to call. I'm about to call somebody." So he goes to go talk to Don Juan, and he's just like, "I don't like him. I don't want to deal with him. Y'all can deal with him." And it's like, no, you're the director of operations. You have to deal with him. And here's what I want to say really quick about that is, I do think Philip has great. I think he has great work ethic. I think he may be great at even being a manager. However, that means nothing if you cannot get people to work with you. Like, if you can't work with anybody, that shit goes out of the window. Like, I've been seeing on Twitter all day, you get more with sugar than you do with salt. And he's a salty motherfucker. Because for me personally, there's no way I would ever do anything out of the bounds of my position for somebody like Philip. For somebody who talks to me the way that Philip has talked to Torin, the way he's talked to Chandrika, and the way that he's talked to Brian. Not at all. Like, he could never ask me to come in early. He could never ask me to come on my day off, and he could never ask me to stay later. If I'm not getting in trouble for not doing any of those things, I'm out and you on your own. You're gonna have to put that apron on. You're gonna have to mix those drinks. You're gonna have to bust these tables, and you're gonna have to get people to these tables because I'm not doing it for you because you are an asshole. You cannot treat people the way you want to be treated. You cannot treat people the way you feel that they should be treated just because they're under you. And he seems like a very intelligent man, so I don't understand how he hasn't grasped that concept in these first 3 episodes. Like, and not only that, but he is in his mid-30s. He said he's been in the business 16 years, so I don't understand how he does not know the importance of being able to build a rapport with your employees. He feels like, no, they just supposed to do what I say when I say it as I say it. And that's it. No, because what you're going to have is a high-ass turnover rate because people are going to be like, oh, this is just a restaurant job. I'm making $12 an hour. Not even $12 an hour. I'm just making tips. I can easily go to motherfucking Buffalo Wild Wings, okay? I can go at any other motherfucking restaurant place and make this same amount of money, if not better, without this bitch Philip. So he's an idiot, but in that regard. But he's telling that story. Torin is telling that story, and neither one of them were telling the correct story. Because Philip was like, "Oh yeah, he just came in there like feeling like we needed him, and that's not how." Like, no, he did not. He literally came in there humbly. He greeted you. He acknowledged your presence. You wanted to have the talk, and you were the one who got out of line with him talking about some I'm not going to introduce myself to you or tell you anything about me because I'm not applying for a job and nobody pays you to think. That was all filler. And he's lucky Torrin really didn't give a fuck and just flipped that table over and started going in his face. Like, he's really lucky that did not happen because you gonna get the wrong motherfuckers in Atlanta who gonna be like, fuck this job. I will go to jail and pay for bail because I got a point to make. So Kandi, she comes in and she lays down the law. She's like, dude, you told me that you ain't never made me feel, never gave me the impression, or you never told me that I would have to deal with somebody just because you didn't like their attitude. You told me that you were able to deal with difficult situations, so deal with these difficult situations. Do what you did at Blaze. And maybe we'll see in the upcoming episodes that he will figure out a way to make it make amends and then make it work with the staff in order to get what he wants or what he wants from them, because this authority, as Brandon said, this disciplinarian, authoritarian position he's trying to take is not going to work without any compassion or without any fucking emotion. It's just not going to work. Now, next, let's talk about Brian. So Brian is like I feel like there's like roles in all shows where you have like this character and that character, and he's like the redemption character of the show. He struggled with alcoholism and depression. He lost his sister, so he went on a downward spiral during the quarantine because all he did was drink, and he had it bad. When he said he was throwing up blood, my goodness, I cannot imagine. But he comes in and he did not want to be a bartender because he wants to stay away from alcohol. I don't know if he expressly stated that to management, but they had him do it anyway because Dom Unique was 2 hours late. Now, here's the contradiction of everything. Brandon was like, they suspended they suspended Brian because of his reaction to being reprimanded for sitting at the bar because of Brandon. But what Brandon didn't do at all was reprimand Dom Unique for being 2 hours late. That's unacceptable. It's really unacceptable. You should have just called off and said, I'm not going to make it today. Or you could have just called and said that you were going to be 2 hours late. But however, the same way Brandon, even though he was being hypocritical because he also was sitting at the bar and he feels like he could sit at the bar because he's a manager overseeing. You're not overseeing anything. Eating a part of the chicken that looks like a tree at the top. You're not going to oversee anything doing that. So it was very hypocritical. And like he said, he was following leadership. And I wish he would have brought that up when they were having the meeting with him. Like, well, I watched management sit at the bar, so I thought I could sit at the bar too. I mean, he maybe could have got away with that. He probably would have been reaching, but that would have brought attention to Philip and Don Juan that Brandon sits at the bar and eats. And we would have found out whether or not he was able to do that or not. But the contradiction of it all is like, you reprimand Brian for actually being at work, even though he was sitting down at the bar and maybe he didn't respond to you the way he should have. Dom Unique came to work 2 hours late. I don't know where that's acceptable anywhere. Like, I can't even tell you what it would be like to show up 2 hours late. Because I was like very late before, but I definitely let them know. I was like, look, I ain't coming into work. I had lost my phone at the mall, and I knew it was at the mall because I used to find my iPhone app. So I was like, I ain't coming into work until I get my motherfucking phone. So, but I wasn't 2 hours late. I was an hour late. Anyway, so 2 hours late, and then she came in like, I'm sorry. She didn't come in with none of that. She just got back to work and started complaining about how dirty it was. But if you were there at your station to man it, it would never been, it would have been clean. But yeah, you have to come into this bullshit. You're going to have to deal with it because you were late. Now, here's one thing. I'm like, Bravo made a point to show us Chandrika saying that, her and Dominique are so close. They're always going to have each other's back, and that's going to never change. I'm like, that's probably going to be exactly the shit that changes as we watch this show. Because she been a little fake. She been doing some weird, questionable shit when it comes to Dominique and Brandon. And, because she knows that she been doing some weird shit. But now Philip comes over and asks her what's going on. She completely threw Dominique under the bus. And I'm like, you probably didn't have to throw her under the bus. You probably like, everything is good. Everything's great. Everything's running great. I got it going on. I helped out in areas I helped out, and that was that. But she's like, oh yeah, Dominique 2 hours late. Like, damn. Because it's like, what if he didn't know that and he only heard it from you? That's kind of fucked up. Like, if I found that out, I would have been irritated. Like, damn, bitch, you couldn't have said nothing else. I wouldn't have been feeling that. I wouldn't have been feeling that. But then again, I would have been 2 hours late. So they go out. I think that's it. They go. They suspend Philip because Philip was getting a little spicy with they suspend Brian because Brian was getting a little spicy with Philip. He was getting very spicy, and it's just like, and Philip is just sitting there like, hello, I'm the director of operations, and this motherfucker talking to me like he crazy. Like, am I tripping? And it's like, nah, you not tripping, but you are rude though. And it's like, people don't be giving a fuck. It's just a restaurant. But anyway, after that situation, let me touch on this really quick. Don Juan walks with Ryan, has a conversation with him, tells him like, "Yo, this is where you were wrong. This is where you should fix it. This, that, and the third." Because at the end of the day, Philip is your master, director of operations. He is your superior, and so he goes back in and he talks to Philip, and Philip is just like, "Yo, these employees, they suck," and it's like, y'all want me to work with them, but y'all ain't really on my side of things. And Don Juan is like, yo, you have been in 4 arguments since you've been here, and you ain't been here that long. You done got into it with Chandrika. You done got into it with well, it wasn't even like a get into with Kandi and Todd, but he had that little situation going on. Then he had the second situation with Torrin, and now here we are, you getting into it with Brandon. You are literally getting into it with every staff person. You get into it with every employee by employee. You have to actually look and see what you're doing wrong. And Philip, he just couldn't take it. He was like, you know what? He went to go sit in his car and have some tea time, and was like, you know what? Don Juan is probably part of the problem. So self-awareness and accountability is not Philip's strong suit. We will see if that changes. They all go out. Well, Patrick invites Torrin over for that scene. That scene was pretty funny, but it was a filler scene. But they go out. He wants to invite everybody out for the housewarmer party. He invited Chandrika, but he really don't want her there. But it seemed like if his girlfriend was cool with it, he would have kept the invitation. But because she said she didn't like it, he was like, okay, nah, fuck that. Whatever I was thinking, fuck that. And then we also learned that him and June almost had a little altercation, but it wasn't that deep. But I did notice, like, they was like, Chandrika was sitting in between a dude she used to fuck and her fiance. I'm like, ooh, that's messy. Who did this assigned seating? And Brandon's being hella obvious, trying to kiss Dominique at the... It's one thing, like, it's like y'all not even trying. Like, first of all, you being biased at work because you let this bitch come into work. I'm sorry to call her that. You let her come into work 2 hours late, and then you trying to kiss her in front of them at the outings. It's just like, whatever. He's super unprofessional. And like Don once said, you're not GM material because of the things that you do. You own your phone, you're sitting to the side, and then Philip is always doing the things that you are supposed to be doing as the manager. Like, Philip is only supposed to be coming in. Philip ain't supposed to do nothing but tell Brandon what to do. All the conversations that Brandon has, Philip is having with employees are the conversations that Brandon is supposed to be having with these employees, not Philip at all. So I'm like, well, why don't y'all just get rid of Brandon and get a new manager also? But whatever. We see that Kandi and Todd really don't know shit about running a restaurant because Todd's stupid big head ass literally said on national television he's okay with the power being out for 2 hours because he don't want to fucking get a goddamn generator. So it's like, for us watching, Why the fuck would we want to go to Old Lady Gang knowing we may or may not be in there when the power goes out for 2 hours? How the fuck you gonna make food and there's no power? The only thing you can do is serve people drinks. So you want a bunch of drunk people in the dark? That was so fucking stupid. I'm like, it's a lot of things. Like when people was criticizing Todd, like they was like, oh yeah, he really don't make a lot of money like that, so Kandi shouldn't be with him. I don't agree with that. I feel like you can be with anybody regardless of what money they make. Men do it all the time. A lot of women don't make no money and the men still be with them. So I feel like women can be with men who make less than them, but they have to have like, you have to do something. You either got to be a superb ass house husband with like a little side hustle on the side, or you got to be super ambitious to want to make as much money as her or more money than her. And so far, we haven't really seen too much of Todd's ventures outside of things that he has going on with his wife. Because we know he has these 2 restaurants with her. Then we see that he has this show with her. Last thing I heard of him doing production, because everybody was saying he did production. He did production on R&B, Hollywood Divas, that a canceled show on TV One. What has he done since then? And then now he's telling people like, hey, if you come to Old Lady Game, I'm fine if you sitting in my restaurant, my hot ass restaurant during the summer, or my cold ass restaurant during the winter, because I don't feel like getting a generator. I'm fine with that. Fucking dumb bitch. What else happened in this episode? I feel like I touched on everything. Torrin met up with Brian. That was a good scene. It was almost sad watching him break down. When he said that he went to bed and then he was mad and sad that he woke up, woo, that was tough. Now, I definitely have struggled with depression. And depression is like an ongoing thing, for me at least. But wanting to be asleep forever, like, it's like almost saying he wanted to be dead. Sheesh. But I feel like I got everything. I don't care about Patrick meeting up with his girlfriend, and I don't care about the water aerobics with Old Lady Gang. That was so funny because my grandmother is 78 and she's done water aerobics for like the longest. So it's just funny when I seen that scene, I immediately thought about her. And I just seen her the other day too, and it was cute. But I feel like I got everything in this episode. This is a good episode. Like I said, I really enjoyed seeing Torrin go back and forth, and motherfucking Philip was just, oh yeah, that's as fast as you think you're back. And he's like, oh no, I'm back. And you can just go through Kandi and Don Juan, but I'm back. If it's one thing that's true, is that I'm back. Well, he was like, with me, and then he said something about me and him, oh, this might be your last. And then Tori cut him off and said some more shit. So he really was not having it with Philip. And I was glad, and I'm glad it happened early on. Not fucking episode 7 or 8. Okay, I'm glad it happened. What is she doing back there? I'm glad it happened early on. But anyway, this is a good episode. I'm rambling at this point. We'll see what happens next episode, because they asked Chandrika, do she want to be there or not? I don't like the fact that Patrick is being the mole. I think that is weak as fuck. I feel like if you know you're going to be that type of employee, then don't be going out with your coworkers just to turn around and tell on them what they said to management, and you're only doing that because that's your family. That's weak as fuck. If you want to be over there, then stay over there and don't come over here with us. And vice versa. Don't be inviting us nowhere just so you can try to get the tea and, get the stat with us, and then just to go tell your cousin and her husband. That is trash. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And I will see y'all in my next video.